And we are live. Hi guys, welcome to Zero Chills TV. Today I am extremely happy and overjoyed. I'm wearing my Superman t-shirt because we have one of the saviors of the advertising industry. Her name is Megha Dutta. No, Data. She actually told me it's Data just a few seconds ago, and here I am butchering her name again. So, Megan, welcome to the show. Say hi, and please teach people to pronounce your name because I'm sure you hate it a lot when people mispronounce your name.
Hello, Eddie. My name
Hi.
is Dutta. Megha as in not mega, but with an H. Megha. And Dutta as in data, which all you young people love, but with a U.
Megha, so that is Megha Dutta, but with a U. Megha, please tell us something about yourself that I couldn't find on your LinkedIn profile. Something interesting.
Oh my God. I am 40 this year. 40. 40. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. Okay, let me tell you about the start of my advertising.
Yes.
Many people tell each other that, they were in banking and I don't know, they were scientists and then they just happened to join advertising. I knew I wanted to be in advertising since I was 8. I never tried anything else. I never dabbled in any other profession. I went straight to Ogilvy with nothing. Right after I finished studying, I went to Ogilvy, and day one, I started an internship with Ogilvy.
And they just accepted because, funny thing, that's the same thing that I did. I just walked into JWT when it was at Liboni Center, and I told Depeche, you know what, I want this job. What do I need to do, Is that what people should do nowadays? The rules are skewed against the modern young millennial.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I wanted to work with Ogilvy. I knew I wanted to be in advertising. I knew I wanted to be a writer. So I went and I went right up the offices. I don't even know how I was allowed inside, but back then they didn't have those name tags or anything. I went and I saw and I scanned around the room and I went to the oldest person who thankfully turned out to be the person. Her name was Paki. And I said, excuse me, I'm Megha, and I'm a writer, and I would like to work with Ogilvy. And you see that sofa there? I'm going to sit there till you say it's okay. That's how I got into Ogilvy.
But so for the number of years that you've been in the advertising industry, what will you say? What has been the shift? I know there's always that, the more things change, the more they remain the same. But obviously there are some shifts that you've seen from the number of years you've been in the industry. I'd like you to highlight some of them and how those shifts have affected the industry so far.
The thing is, the essence of advertising hasn't changed at all. I have heard from innumerous people that, and I've been hearing since 2008 that, digital has landed, mainstream advertising is gone, it's extinct, nothing of that happens. Advertising in its essence is biblical, that whole thing about free will. You would have no free will if it wasn't for advertising. Imagine going to a supermarket and everything looked the same. It had no branding, it had no name, it had nothing to differentiate each other. You would be robbed of your free will, mister. So yeah, I mean, everything remains the same. The only thing, of course, the modes of advertising has changed. Now you can see ads in different forms on different screens. And I think more and more, I feel like advertising is kind of mimicking entertainment, and that's a good thing.
More and more advertising is kind of mimicking entertainment, like you said, and which is a funny thing because more and more people are putting ad blockers. I'm sure you have ad blockers just like me, confession. So are you saying then our work basically as advertisers is to look less and less like advertisers, and then if if that is what you're saying, how then do we do that? How then do we become less and less of advertising? We're still holding on to the essence of advertising.
I mean, you're right, Eddie. I mean, it's alarming, and it is a cause for alarm if people are actually paying money not to watch the thing that pays you your salary. So,
Yes.
yeah, the key thing to remember is look at it from your own experience. Advertising should not be a hindrance to entertainment. Think about it when you hear when you're on a radio channel. Advertising is just so annoying. It's annoying to me as well. So the more you align yourself to what people are watching, more you align your advertising to popular culture, close the gap between popular culture and advertising. People are spending upwards of 3, 4 continuous hours on TikTok and Reels. They're watching somebody advertise something about themselves. So if they're watching that for 3 or 4 hours, why can't advertising be like endless TikTok channel?
Advertising should be like an endless TikTok. But you see, I always feel like, in as much as we want our advertising to be like these TikTok videos that we see all over the place, and remember, Megha, you can curse. We have free will here, and I will start off the cursing. Like, I fucking hate it when people are on TikTok and I just want to see cat videos, and there an advertising comes in. So where is the fucking brand storytelling that comes in? Where now, in as much as I'm having an entertainment, I see this brand that is there, and I'm glued to the brand because that advertising was done well. Where is that line?
Well, the line firmly is with the agency. The client will not tell you how to make your advertising more entertaining. It is upon you to never present shit. Don't give that as an option. If you haven't given that as an option, then they don't have something to take. Uh, I rue the people who say this is a creative option and this is a safe option. Now, if you've presented a safe option to the client, they're going to pick the safe option, and well, they're going to be like, but you put it on your presentation and we've picked it. Where's our fault? So it is a process of going through with the client, learning, unlearning. But I would suggest, in the first place, don't present your options.
I'm glad you brought the client here on board, because one thing that I hear a lot of people complaining about is that the client has too much power. Nowadays, you find that the client is art directing everything, make the logo bigger. I need this hue of colors. Oh, I don't like this taste of this word on this copywriting. Now, when then do we get the chance to push back as a young creative and say, you know what, I feel like I'm going with my gut here, but the client insists, and the client is the one who's paying your bills technically. So where is that power pushing back, and who is supposed to have this power? Because as a young creative, I know there are channels that I need to go through, and maybe my boss would not technically understand how we came here with the clients.
Sure. See, there is a key to that, Eddie. I think, firstly, advertisers should never confuse themselves with artists. Artists are their own masters. Advertisers never write for a business. So, not to discourage people about creativity and always say that given to the client, give the client their due. They know their brand, they know their consumer much more than advertisers do. And that's a sad fact that earlier advertisers and agencies used to act like partners. However, that relationship has slowly degenerated. And I think part of the blame lies with advertising agencies, because they don't spend that much time getting to know their clients, getting to know their consumer. They don't spend hours in a Safaricom shop or an Airtel shop or a telecom shop looking at consumers interacting with their brands. So give clients their due when they say that they know their consumer. However, in your head, divide up the work into opportunity and salary. When it is a question of things that can pass because they are really hygiene to the brand, let them pass. But when you see that this brief is an opportunity, don't let it pass. Just hang on to it and escalate. You know you've got a good idea, tell it to your creative director, go to the head of office, escalate till you find the person who holds the relationship in that business to try and push your idea through. That is my suggestion.
Okay, which is an interesting suggestion, which will lead into this other question. Now, I'm sure that when it comes to brand storytelling, the essence is to express it as simply as possible. And I'd say, for me, what I've learned, and even from what we've been talking with senior creatives, is that the fact that every brand has a story to tell. But I'm not sure we are telling the right stories or we are telling the right brand stories. Say, for instance, when, and I'd quote one of the most powerful storytellers of the past, even Martin Luther King, when he was passing the point of, I have a dream and all that shenanigans. And even Jesus himself, whenever he wanted to explain a point, he'd use a parable, like the parable of the lost coin, lost sheep, to tell people, this is what I want you to do. And by using a story, he was able to get more people. But I feel as of now, it's more of, the industry has become more of, let's get the job done, let's make the client happy. And like you said, the client is paying the bills and know how much you can get away. But where is the line? Where then do we start telling these brand stories that can hook in younger millennials or younger consumer bases that may not necessarily know where the brand came from?
Eddie, the thing is, I feel like simple is overrated. You can tell very complex stories, you can tap into complex human emotions, and that's okay. I think where the balance lies is the fact that you have to take your clients to good work. A lot of times what happens is those kids are trying to sell you something. A lot of times what happens is that clients don't know. Clients don't know what is the potential of their own brands in terms of advertising, in terms of how it can tap itself into popular culture. Give them examples. Show them what's happening in other markets. Show them what's happening in actual social media. How trends are catapulting. How brands are latching onto this the trends, because like Oprah says, when people know better, they do better.
Yeah. But is that a one size fits all? Because, okay, fine, I may know better, but do I really want to do better as a creative? Do I feel like I can convince this client to, move into my side of the corner, to, in as much as I've shown them, okay, this is what maybe Vodafone did in Britain or whatnot, and I feel like we could take your brand here, but the client is like, you know what, I feel that's a good idea, but for the moment, let's just do this. What do you feel about that?
You try,
Yeah.
and then dump the client. Move on to another one.
That's true, and that means saying no. And in this industry, I think last week we were having a conversation where we were asking, has the industry gone soft? Are we saying no enough to the client? Are we firing enough clients, just to shake things up? When was the last time you told someone no, apart from your child? Somebody big.
So many times. So many times.
Give us an example.
I'll tell you, saying no is the prerogative of the young. So this is what I have to tell every young person. As soon as you come into our roles, which is head of creative, ECD, CCO, the more C's are attached to your designation, the harder it gets to say no.
Yeah.
Young people, you guys have all the power. Say, fuck off. I don't want to work on this brief. I don't understand it. I reject this brief. I cannot work on it because it doesn't make any sense. And nothing of their fathers go. I remember very early on in my career, I was working for, I don't know if I could name the brand, but yeah. I was working for a telecom company in India. And they had a very big celebrity endorsement, and they had a contract with that celebrity. And we are at a shoot for a film with that celebrity. And the client goes through the contract and says that, oh my God, we have 5 hours left with this client. He comes to
Yes.
me, shoot, and says, listen, can you just quickly write a film with this guy right now, which he can shoot right now, because we have 5 hours left with this dude. And guess what I say?
No.
Yeah.
So saying no is the prerogative of the young, which is quite interesting because let's say, then how do you grow as a young person? Because, you're told, like, I was reading the history of one of creative directors in Kenya, and he was saying, this was and I think even Shonda Rhimes says it, my year of saying yes. Whatever comes, I say yes. Whatever job I get, I say yes. Because you have to have that balance between the job that you want and the job that you like to have. So that means taking on more challenges. But if you keep on saying no, no, and no, then how do you rise? How do you then accept challenges that build your career and push you to the next level? Because in as much as I want to say no, I may take that as an excuse to say no. Now when my boss comes, I don't want to do this, because now I feel like, I'm a young person, I can say no to this because I have time. But then do we really have time as young people? Because I want to rise to your level, Megha. So how do I know which projects to say no to?
Sure. Like I said, it's that difference. If you can understand that this brief, if it's a poster that will be hung in a kiosk, does this brief have the potential to further my career? Or whether it is a social campaign for, say, Women's Day, and you have a brilliant idea and it can further your career, lean into ideas that and you're sure of that furthers your career. If it doesn't further your career, it furthers your salary, do it. If it furthers your career and it's getting rejected, lean in. Don't let it go. Be about that work. Be cantankerous. Make noise.
Yeah. Yes. Make noise. Okay. Which is quite interesting because just the other day, I happened to stumble across some guy called Joe Duffy. And so Joe Duffy was a designer he is a designer up there in the States. And so when he was hired as a young person, and he found out that after some time, there was no differentiation between him and the rest of the people. So what he did is he took on more challenging projects. He started volunteering for International Logo Designs Company until he became the go-to person for logos in his company. After that, more opportunities opened up until where now he set up his own studio and started winning awards and whatnot. So basically what I'm trying to ask is, as a young person, how do you know a challenging project that, like you said, in as much as it may not be furthering my salary, this one can further my career? How do you feel? Because I'm coming from the school of thought where, as a young person, I don't have enough experience to know that this project, may propel my career further. How do you know these projects that you can identify that can say, okay, this one, if I do this, I may become better, I may become bigger, and it may open more opportunities for me?
You see, I don't think projects or briefs come with that call out saying this is a career furthering project. I think it comes from any brief in which we find an idea. It could be the smallest of briefs or the largest of briefs. But if you have an idea that answers that brief refreshingly and you think it's a big idea, like Eddie, when you thought of Zero Chills TV, you knew you had something, right? You be young or old or middle-aged, when you have an idea, you feel it in your gut, right? You know there's something here, As soon as you get the feeling that there's something here, I think it is your responsibility. You owe it to that idea to see how far you can take it. And you need to be violent, loud, cantankerous, protesty. You should do it. It's like, let me give you an example. It's like, have you seen Rocky? Have you seen Rocky? Sylvester Stallone's Rocky?
Yes, I've seen Rocky.
Right. So you see how he runs up those stairs and does those many hours of training and then emerges as uh, the Rocky that he is. It's the
Yes.
same for advertising.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you understand that in sport, the more you
Mm.
practice, the better you get. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. Dancing, ballet. You've seen so many movies where people practice, practice, break their ankles, break their spines, and yet get up and dance again. It's the same thing for advertising. The more you
Mm.
do it, the better you get at it. It's human nature. The more you write, the better you get at writing. The more you art direct, the better you get at art direct. The more you
Yeah.
fail, the better you get at failing. You know.
The more you fail, the better you get at failing. So that one should be printed and put on a T-shirt
Yeah.
and sold for
Yeah.
quite some few money.
You
Oh,
feel better, like
yeah.
uh, I have failed so badly in the past, but
Yeah. Please give us an example of the last time you failed badly.
failed badly. Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Like you are like,
So it
fuck.
was
Yeah.
Pepsi,
Yes.
JWT Delhi Pepsi account, and
Yeah.
we had to go with advertising for the biggest brand campaign, summer campaign of Pepsi.
Mm.
And my idea was so bad, so bad that the
Mm.
crime stopped us all in the middle of the presentation and said, "Listen, I think
Yeah.
you guys need to get out of this building. Keep walking, keep walking. You cannot be in this building anymore."
Yeah.
So we did. And now,
Yeah.
I can wing a presentation because I've failed so many times. I can
Yeah.
you. I mean, don't tell anybody, but the
Yeah.
last time I was in a actual client presentation pre-COVID times.
Yeah.
I actually did. I created the idea in the car on the way going, and I presented on the street, and it
Yeah.
was fine because now I know how to fail better.
Yeah. That's not a life hack. So just please, everyone has his own way. We should just be clear. We should be clear on that. Now, Megha, do you believe in passion? Because this is a word that I see being thrown around. Follow your passion. Do what moves you. And like you said, you knew from a young age that all you wanted to do was advertising, and that's why you just woke up. Okay, you didn't just wake up, but you took steps and you went into Ogilvy and said, "You know what, guys, I want to work here." Some would call that passion, but that was a strategy. Do you believe in the word passion, or this? I think it's become a buzzword. Follow your passion. What are your thoughts on following our passions?
See, of course, you should follow your passions, but not off a cliff. I find this thing that is seeded in the youth today that they are led to believe that everyone has something special in them. From the time they are born with something special. That may not be the case with you. Of course, there are some people that are born special, but there are a lot more people who find in themselves a spark, a thing that they lean towards, and through calculated steps, like you said, and through practicing at it, and by giving it 10,000 or more hours of their life, become really good at it, and they feel passionately towards it. So yeah, I mean, do not stretch your adolescence, and do not use passion as an excuse for not putting the steps towards something that you feel that you can be good at. So this finding a passion shouldn't be a unending mission. If you cannot immediately find something that you're very, very highly passionate about, wait for that. In the meanwhile, look at things that you like doing, and maybe that could grow into your passion.
Yeah, amazing. Because I was reading this book by Cal Newport, and where he was talking so good they can't ignore you, and he proposed two things. there's the passion mindset and the craftsman mindset. And they say that people who follow their passion eventually burn out. But people who follow their craft, say, for instance, I may not really like advertising, but the more I do advertising, the more I talk to people like you, the more I involve myself in the work, I discover that actually I have passion for this work. Would you say that is the same for you or the same for many creatives out here?
Absolutely. You see it as an analogy. If you keep waiting to say that I will only get into a relationship if it's love at first sight, okay? I see the person, I fall in love, and other than that, I will
Yes.
not do dating. I will not meet. I will not bone. I will not sleep with the
Yeah.
person. I will watch movies with the person. I will not talk to that person unless it is
Yes.
love at first sight. It's the same thing with advertising, man, and or any other passion. You see, it passion doesn't happen like I look at swimming and I feel, my God, that is my passion. How do you know? How would you know if you don't start from liking something and then it grows into a passion?
Yes. Well, I'd called Megha for creative advice, but I see we have gone into relationship advice as well and
Oh,
love
I
matters.
am all about the love stories.
Yes.
I
Yes.
get so much because every person in my team right now, and I've known them since my last job. The first time I meet anybody, I'm like, listen, come here, tell me your story. And then they'll start with, I've worked in, I was like, no, 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 I'm not interested in. Are you dating somebody? What was your love story? How did you guys
Yeah.
meet? What did you
Yeah.
do? I am so into people's love stories, and people sometimes be like, "Yo, man, I've known you for like 5 minutes. Can you like give me some space?" I was like, "Okay, I'll give you space later. First, tell me your story."
Yeah. Why do you think that is important, knowing people's love stories? Because, some love stories are beautiful, others are dangerous, others you'd rather not hear. So, and do you mind sharing your love story now that you brought that up?
You see, the thing is, I am not saying this is a good thing and people should not like go headfirst into it, but it's the kind of curiosity I have. Like, I need to know a person. Like, I don't feel like I know you if I know how many different jobs you have been in or where were you working last and all of that. I like to know, like, have you ever stalked somebody? Has somebody stalked you? Did was your love story all easy or was it difficult? Or, were there other people involved? Was it a triangle, pentagon, octagon? um, yeah, so my love story was pretty nonchalant. My husband was my boss's boss in rediffusion YNR in India.
Yes.
He Yeah, so his name is Dipesh. He's a really
Yes.
nice guy, and he's
Yes.
a really good boss. But how the tables
With
have
very bad jokes.
yeah, with very bad jokes. But yeah, so he started out as my boss, and I have spent 12 years turning that table around. And look
Yeah.
who's boss now.
Well.
So now he
Well,
reports to me.
that's a beautiful love story. Mushira says it's a love story of advertising and passion. Do you think it's easier for you to marry someone who is in advertising if you're working in advertising? Because I'm asking this because once upon a time, I will not tell you my love story, but advertising takes a lot on the people that work in this industry, and you find that sometimes maybe an idea will come to you at 3 a.m. and you get so passionate about it, and your spouse or significant other does not understand. Why are you so excited about this idea? What's so wrong? And you work long hours. Do you feel like it's easier for us to marry within the industry, or do you encourage us to branch out?
Look, the simple answer is that I couldn't have found somebody out of office or out of advertising because I remember being in office every waking hour. So I used to get up, get dressed, go to office, come back, go to sleep. So had I not found somebody in office, I don't know, man, I would have been like single and with 4 cats, but a lot more successful in advertising. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to take it into a slightly serious turn and say that, especially women in advertising, I find it easier when your spouse is also in advertising, because advertising is not your regular 9 to 5 job. And so when you have a husband, boyfriend, live in partner who is from advertising, it makes it easier for you to stay in advertising longer. And my women, I would have you do anything to have you stay in advertising longer.
Yes, that's quite beautiful, and I'm glad you brought women in advertising, because rumor has it, or research has it, that you are the only female creative director in Kenya. Do you feel a burden of responsibility having such a prestigious title?
It is actually a very fakal title. It is nothing to be
Yes.
proud of at all. Um, it is good and bad, actually. It's good for very few reasons. One is that they say when you can see it, you can be it. So here I am. I am not only a woman, I am a wife, and I am the mother of a 5-year-old. And if I can make it in advertising, so can you. But the bad side of it is, for me, I always feel like a figurehead of a system that perpetuates gender inequality. So it's not like any agency can say, here is our one creative director who's female, and see, we are okay. So I want to not be one of one, but one of many.
Not one of one, but one of many. Which may lead me to this question: do you feel, how has it been as a creative female director in Kenya? Do you sometimes feel like, you can't get into some rooms, or you feel discriminated in some other ways in advertising as a woman? And conversely, do you feel also like sometimes that you get special favors or special treatment because you are a female creative director? Do you feel like you get some passes, and the converse of that question as well?
Um, well, it's 2021, and nobody really says that, oh, we don't want women in the boardroom, etc. But I'll give you an example, and I'll paint you a picture. Okay.
Yes,
When
please.
you walk into a restaurant, okay, when you walk into a restaurant and you go to a table, and the table is set, there's a plate, there are forks, and there are spoons, and there are knives, and everything is arranged for a right-handed person. Okay. Now, nobody tells you that as a left-handed person, you cannot enter the restaurant. But the default is always right-handed, right? So what you have to do as a left-handed person is to arrange everything back and then eat your food. The same thing is in advertising. Nobody tells women that they're not allowed, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the default is male. It is structured around um, men, male leadership, etc. So while it is not that you're not allowed at the table, when you do come to the table, you have to rearrange a lot of things.
Yeah, I feel you. But
Yeah.
conversely, having known that this is what is happening in the industry, then how do we mitigate such issues? And you personally, having been in this industry for quite some time, what are you doing about it? What steps are you taking to ensure that we have more female representation at the table?
Yeah. So, yeah, so the only way to mitigate it is for women to take space. It's as simple as that. The thing is, Eddie, and I say this in every interview, but I think it's really important. It is not that advertising does not have women. The junior roles, the early roles there's a lot of gender balance there. There are a lot of women there. Women start falling off um, in the middle of their careers. They get married, they have children, and then they fall off. And so women do not make it to leadership. And that is where the problem lies. Because if you don't have women in leadership, it is just, you know, then women don't see a career in that industry. So, yeah, so the thing to do is two things. One, get a mentor who's a woman. Uh, because then when you find an obstacle and you feel that you can fall off your path and you can fall off advertising, they will let you know how not to fall off advertising. The second thing is organizations. Please go to HR. There are such simple things an organization can do to make sure that the women don't fall off. One is destigmatizing flexible hours, working from home. 2020 has taught us that every person can work from home, and it has been such a great time for mothers who can take care of their children and yet not give up on their profession. So there are little things that everyone can do. What I am doing, I am personally mentoring two women in my organization, and I see them, their career trajectory going straight, one towards MD and one towards creative director. And I am not going to rest till I get them there.
Amazing. I'm quite jealous of those two women who are getting mentored by you.
Also, like a blanket invitation to women,
Yes.
whoever is in advertising, if you
Yeah.
ever need advice, uh, Eddie, you can put my number right up there. Please call me.
Yes.
I'm always here to hear.
Of course, I'm definitely going to put her number, but not. Okay, I'll put it. Okay, no, we'll discuss. But Mega, you you know Kenyans are jokers. I'm sure you know that. So
Nobody's talking a 40-year-old. Come on.
it's just that I like Depeche. I won't say some things. He will come for me.
Mm.
Now, there's something that we have a few questions that have come in, but before I open the floor, I wanted to ask you. There's a point that you mentioned about women now says she has taken a break to go into motherhood or she got pregnant or family responsibilities, but at the same time the man's career is still progressing. We find that by the time that she gets back to the industry, there's already a gap year or a gap period where she's lost so much time. How do they, from your experience, how do you bounce back from such a period? Is it even necessary to take that break, or you can still soldier on, during pregnancy and all that in your career? How do you maintain the balance as a woman?
I think you see that, which is why I ask women to start early. When you start advertising early, by the time that you're having your children, etc., you're in a position where you understand the business of advertising, and so organizations give you a little bit of a delay. So because I had a body of work before I took my 1 year sabbatical, I took a sabbatical for a whole year when I had my child. And I was able to come back because I had a body of work to lean into. Now, I understand people who are just very new to an industry and they don't have a body of work and they've taken a lot of gap. Uh, it is difficult, but however, find again, the good thing is find a mentor in advertising, let your work speak for yourself. And I am sure that if you rewrite your CV and mention that you have taken the years off for paternity, maternity, uh, well, I'm sure chances are that in advertising there is a growing understanding of how people and ideas are never irrelevant.
Okay, amazing, amazing. We have a few questions and a few comments. Mushira was saying, oh, love story, we read that one. Nis is asking, do you think that someone thinks or reasons as an individual affects their business reasoning? E.g., for example, my personality versus brand view personality. It's a double question where she's also asking, can you detach yourself from the business and still give amazing results? Can you still strongly do creative for brands you don't believe in?
And that's a really good question, actually.
Yeah.
Again, staying true to yourself is again really the area of the youth. Again, as you grow in advertising, you have to detach the person from the business. But advertising is one of those few few professions where you cannot um, take away the person from the portfolio. It is very difficult if you're having a bad day or a bad time in life to come into work and write happy, jumpy radio jingles. It is difficult. On the brighter side, I feel that to do good work, you have to be one of two things. Either you be interesting or interested. If you're an interesting person, you will get in your life a great amount of insights. You'll know people, etc., which will help you every day in your advertising. On the other hand, if you don't lead a very interesting life, be interested in other people's lives. Do it vicariously. Get a front seat row to dramatic people, good books, great cinema, good advertising work. And then slowly you will understand that it is not just your personality that you can pour into work, but also observations from a lot of other people's life. It's a reservoir that you create, but the trick is that you always have to replenish the source.
We are getting so many quotes for my t-shirts. I'm going to start a printing business. So to do advertising, you have to be either interesting or be interested. We are going to sell Megha. Do you want to partner with me in this biashara?
Yes.
I hope you're also drinking. May I have my drink here? It's Friday and Uhuru has done that thing, so we are celebrating. Oh, you're having water. Okay. We still have more questions, and there was another one from, who is this? From Mushira, who was asking such an analogy. Does it mean that women have to work twice as hard to sit at the table, and what must be done beyond basic qualification? I think you had answered part of that question.
Yeah, I don't think it's twice hard. And I won't say my journey has been easy. But yeah, I think the good thing is it is changing. I think you, instead of working hard, there's a little bit of working smart required. I think most people do not quickly realize that when you're having a problem, it is now very okay to go up to your HR or the organization and say, look here, this is my problem. I have a child at home and I need you to figure out my flexible hours or how I can work from home or how I can take a break from this hour to this hour. The organization has to help you. And so you reduce your hard work and make it somebody else's problem.
Well, that is advice for everyone. Reduce your workload and make it someone else's problem. And it's all about working smart, which if I may ask, like people talk a lot about not, balancing between working hard and working smart. Maybe if you could give us a practical example, just to put it into perspective, where you worked smart in a certain area when most people would have worked hard.
I think, okay, this is a good one. You know how people keep saying 360 campaign, 360-degree campaign,
Yes.
BTL, through TL,
All TLs.
I think, you see, very early in my career, I figured out that this is the power of an idea. When you have an idea, that idea should be broad enough, big enough, so that the legs of the idea become apparent at stage one. Instead of cracking an idea for every TL, ATL, what is the print idea, what is the TV idea, what is the digital idea, what is the, I don't know, coaster, poster, fridge magnet idea, have an idea right at the beginning which is archetypical or which sits on an insight that is broad enough to cover all these TLs.
an idea that basically cuts across all channels, you know. Now, there's another question here for just a second, I find it. From Nisi, who is also asking, last week there was a question about women being better in the industry because of the perceived emotional placement. They speak to hearts. What's your comment on this?
Hey, Nisi, that is actually a really, really important question. Are women better in advertising? Can I say that as a blanket statement? No. But I have a mentor. Her name is Swati. And what she says about advertising, I hold to be the absolute truth. Advertising is about intimacy. The more a brand can create intimacy with its consumers, the more the consumer can look at a brand and say, hey, how did you know that about me? My God, that is so true. The more intimate a brand becomes with its consumer, the better the advertising is. And if that is the filter I choose to look at advertising, and I know it to be true, then yes, women are better at creating intimacy. And therefore, well, you can.
Well. That
And
one, that's a point for debate. That's a point for debate. There are some men out here who are very good in intimacy.
no, I am not talking about intimacy, which starts with
Yes.
wham, wham, thank you, ma'am. Okay. I'm talking about intimacy between brands and consumers.
That's a good point to clarify because minds can always wander in these sessions. So Bushira is asking, how do you stay on top of the ladder? What's your single most piece of advice to the one who is just starting and looking for a sense of direction in the industry? Now, before you answer that, speaking of ladders, you know, sometimes we spend our life climbing a ladder, not knowing that we've maybe, and the question that we should ask is this ladder on the right wall? You know, what's your comment?
Well, hi, Mushira. Well, how do I stay on top of the ladder? By wearing very sticky shoes. No, I mean, you see, the thing is, you have to put in the hours. Um, you have to be relevant. You see, even when I have spent, by the way, Eddie, let me correct. There's a little typo in your write up of me. I've now spent 22 years in advertising. And I feel like even now, I have never felt jaded about advertising. I go into briefing sessions, brainstorming sessions with that same enthusiasm. Every time I hear a good idea, you know, that the little hairs on the back of my neck, like they stand up like, what? I see other people having great ideas. I still feel so envious. I'm like green like this, like this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think um, I think the ladder will, rung up itself, um, be about the work, and like Eddie said, if it is the wrong wall, you will know at rung two. At rung two, if you know it's the wrong wall, don't try climbing three, four, and five. Get
Yeah.
off and move the ladder.
Yes. Move the ladder. Before I take you to the next question from Ken, now there's a saying that I really love, where now that you brought intimacy into this session, I think it's aptly relevant. They say that marriage is give and take, and
Mhm.
you know, so many people spend their time thinking about what they can take rather than what they can give. And advertising, I believe it to be like a marriage. You know, once you're, like you said, you cannot separate the art from the artist in this case when it comes to advertising. So it's like you're married to advertising. I want to know, what have you taken from advertising and what have you given it back?
Hey, that's a good question. Nobody has asked me that. See, I will tell you. If you think of advertising as marriage, then it will not work. You see, the thing is, banking as a job can be your marriage. Advertising should always be an affair. And when you're an
Ah,
affair, and
I like where you're going.
yeah, stick to it with the rules of an affair, you see. It has to be taken in small doses. So take good breaks from advertising once in a while. Um, you should keep up the excitement, which means that when you go to a brainstorming session, when you debrief something or brief something, be interested. Show up to work wearing accessories, and then, yeah, and like I said, like in an affair, when it's just starting up, you have that excitement. Every how many people can say that in their job one day they would be knowing everything they have to know about Tusker. The next day they would be steeped in understanding of taxes because of KRA,
Yeah.
or they
Yes.
would be figuring out how aeroplanes work. It's such an interesting profession, and it can only get mundane if you make it mundane.
Mm,
Also, to answer your question, Eddie, sorry, what have I taken from advertising and what have
yes.
I given advertising? What I've taken from advertising is, a job that doesn't feel like a job. I love it. Um, I have taken from advertising that um, that designation to, I was a creative director 7 years into my career, so I have really snatched that designation, and I continue to do that, and I like that. What have I given? And oh, I have also taken my husband from advertising. uh,
Woohoo!
yeah. He was hot one. He was.
Yeah, yeah. I told him so.
And what I've given advertising, I've given a lot of time to advertising. I have given it a lot of optimism. There, of course, in times in advertising, because there's so much of advertising which is about rejection. It is very easy to get disheartened, but you go through it with optimism, because one good idea coming to life is worth 20 rejections. And I find that small thrills from advertising. The first time I saw my idea, which I wrote in a balcony smoking cigarettes in my small little flat in Gurgaon, and then I see
Yeah.
it on a big 30 by 80 billboard. It gave me great joy. The first time I did a TV script and I saw it in between a movie, it gave me great thrills. The first time I won an award, it gave me a great thrill. The first time somebody said to me in advertising, like, it's a really important pitch. We really feel that you should be a part of it. Otherwise, we can't win this pitch. It gave me a great thrill. So find your
Yeah.
thrills, lots of it.
Find your thrills and lots of it. I hear Diana Mwangi is saying that I think I found myself a mentor. Lucky you, Diana. Lucky you.
All
She'll call you. She'll definitely call you during and after office hours. Now, but Megha, having gotten to where you've gotten, 22 years in the industry, it means that you've taken a lot of risks, at least to even be here. I know even moving from JWT India to come to Kenya, it was not an easy decision, or rather, I'm assuming. And I want to know, what are the risks that you are taking now, currently in your career, that you would like to share with us?
um look, I don't know about risks, because I mean, though I love advertising, I cannot take it that seriously. It's I'm not saving anybody's life. So I don't know. I mean, am I risking my career doing anything? I think I risk careers now because I've gotten a little brash and I tell off clients a little bit. So yeah, that could escalate and cost me my job. But then, Yeah, so I have found in myself the gumption to tell off clients these days.
Amazing. No, it won't cost you your job. We'll be out there with the placard saying, "No, bring back Megha. We can't fire her. We love her. We'll defend your honor." I'm not the only one. Even Mushira is agreeing with me that you are quite fun and that everyone is happy that you are here. There's a question that I wanted to ask on the digital space, but it got lost
Thank you,
during the process of thought. Mushira. And it's that as you can tell, our concentration spans are getting lower and lower every day. And the work that we are doing here in advertising, it needs deeper and deeper concentration, to be able to at least come up with ideas that sell more and more. But from where I sit, I see that people have less attention spans, and they move on quickly. And the shock and value system of advertising of the past, where you see a naked person, that is no longer working. So how then do you remain relevant? How then do you, as a creative in this modern period, how then do you are you able to concentrate deeply in your work so that you produce ideas or things that can move people?
This whole thing about, people don't have attention span, they move on very quickly. This is all rubbish. Okay. So I think last week or something, I think DC had that 4 hour Avengers, I don't know, Wonder Woman, something, 4 hours.
Yes.
I have seen young people who apparently have the attention span of 20 seconds or lesser, as per research, sit
Yes.
through 4 hours uninterrupted, not batting an eyelid. So the moral of the story is that people have all the attention span if they're looking at something that they like. If you make fuck all advertising, you will have fuck all span of attention.
Aha, okay. Thank you for that. So if you make fuck all advertising, you'll get fuck all work back. So, which is true, because my friend was trying to get me to watch that Justice League thing for 4 hours, and I was like, 4 hours watching one movie? I can't do this. I'm lazy. Okay, I'm not lazy. I don't have the mental strength to watch this thing. Now, this is asking, how do you keep your team energized?
By the ancient Aesop's method of carrot and stick. I think, you see, the carrot is that, I will not let a good idea die. In some way or the other, now that Easter is coming, I will resurrect it. If it's a good idea, it will see its light of day. The stick is, and it sometimes doesn't work. I tell my team, if you don't do it, I will do it. And then the next day they come back to the brainstorm and I'm like, where's the idea? And they're like, what? You said you'll do it. So sometimes doesn't work.
So carrot and stick. Now we're almost coming to a close of the show, and it pains my heart to have to let you go. I am. Yeah.
Like honest.
No, we can add like 10 more minutes, because you are the only female creative director. At least we deserve like 2 hours with you. Amma, what do you say? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I still have a few questions left.
Sure.
I want to know. Yeah. There are some people who believe in pre-testing ideas before they shoot them. Are you a gut person or are you a research person?
Yeah. If the idea is good, I'm a gut person. If the idea is mediocre, please research it.
If the idea is good,
gut never favors. I feel that the gut never favors mediocre ideas. So if it's a iffy idea, then your gut will be like whatever. So don't rely on your gut if it's a iffy idea. Go the research route.
Yeah. Nisi needs an expression room. So where I think we'll create a safe space where we can just go and laugh at some bad jokes, and just have fun there or something like that. Now, Megha, there's this talk, and a lot of millennials and young people keep asking themselves, or rather, we ask ourselves, what is my purpose? Like, why am I brought into this world? At where you are right now, before you turn 40 on November 1st. By the way, it's her birthday on November 1st. Intimacy. Now, what's your purpose right now?
Deep, Eddie, deep.
Yeah,
No,
man.
I am going to answer this question so seriously, you'll be stunned. Okay, so my purpose has, even before I thought it would be my purpose, Kamala Harris came and took it. And so I'm going to now go through what I thought of it first. That I might be the only or the first, only female creative director right now in Kenya. But
Yes.
I'm sure as fuck won't be the last. That is
Yes.
my current purpose. And my other purpose is, you see that Excel cycle behind me? My
Yeah.
purpose is to use that before 2021 is over.
Oh, hell, strength to you, more power to you. Amandla, whatever people used to say. So it's first to be not just the only creative director. You are the first, but you don't want to be the only one or
I'm
the
not the
last one.
first. I'm not the first. There
Okay.
have been creative directors who are female in Kenya before me, but I don't know where they are now. And
Yes.
I'm right now stuck being the only, but it's
Yeah.
not going to last long. I'll make
Yes.
sure.
Okay. Also about the treadmill, make sure you use it. More room, more power to you. Now, before I let you go, I have to ask you, this question. It's a standard for all guests who come on the show. Where Toffler, I'm sure you've heard that quote, where he says that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, relearn, and unlearn. So I want to know what you've learned so far in your at this stage of your career, what you are unlearning right now, and what you've had to relearn.
I have learned that in advertising, you are literally as good as your team is. Because if it becomes an individual pursuit, you'll never win. Because you can't have a good day every day at office. That's what I've learned. What have I unlearned? I have unlearned to take, so my work is personal. I have unlearned how not to take the results personally. So while I will give my best to my work, I will not take the rejection of that work personally. That is what I've unlearned. And what I have relearned, I have relearned over and over again in advertising that although it is not apparent to them immediately, but being young in advertising is the best thing in the world. And I wish young people would see it how I see it. The amount of things that you can get away with, the amount of doors that are just waiting for young people to open and run through is amazing.
Wow, I feel like you've preached to me in so many languages. Do you think that is your superpower, being able to shift between two characters? One time you are fun, and the other time you are completely serious with the snap of a finger. Is that your superpower?
That is because, Eddie, I am just a young person trapped in the body of a 40-year-old, slightly overweight person. Nobody knows this. I am
Is,
actually young at heart.
is that what you're going with? Is
Yeah,
that your
man.
defense in quotes?
I'm telling you. See, this is why I get to know um, people and their love stories. It keeps me young,
Yeah,
keeps me interesting. Didn't you have a good conversation? Now tell me your love
we did.
story.
My love story right now.
Yeah.
No, I will.
Hey, come on.
But
I cannot.
no,
I will not log off.
no,
You don't want to tell me your love story.
no. It's like we have people here who are watching, and like I'm afraid. I'm shy. You don't know. I'm shy.
Tell me,
That's
does
all.
it exist or does it not exist?
It exists, of course. It always exists.
Oh, then I'm calling you right after.
Yeah, you have to. Like we'll gossip.
I
Look
will
at me.
try you with alcohol till I know.
I am a young, handsome man. Do you think I could lack a love story, like a beautiful one? Do you really think so?
Oh my God, the love stories I have seen. You'll be surprised.
Now, before I let you go, this question is a bit personal, and I'd like you to answer it with the is it candor or is it candidness or candidity, whichever, of the Megha Milli data. I have to tell people that it's data, not Dutta, because you are telling me the story about immigration where people at the immigration say, "Are you Kikuyu? Dutta?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Megha, ooh, Jesus Christ, Megha. So, assume today, like, you are at your deathbed, God forbid, and you have just 10 seconds or 1 minute to live or 60 seconds to live, and you have 3 things that you know to be true and that you'd like to share with the world. God has said, you know what? I'm giving you 60 seconds to share with the world the 3 things or the 3 truths that you know to be true in your life. So go on, share with us.
Oh my God. Eddie, better start giving your the people you call to your show your questions in advance. Like, oh my God, have I ever thought of my deathbed? Okay, talking about deathbed, I'm going to live for very long.
Yes, you will.
So I'm sure these 3 things are going to change. But if
Yes.
you ask me 3 things that I know for sure, um, one is that God is female, for sure. I mean, this much creativity, this much empathy, and this much sacrifice, um, it cannot. Okay, so that is one. The second thing that I know for sure is love, whether it is for a person or for your profession or for your passion, um, is what will show you your way forward. Um, you know, I feel that if for every parameter, I know it could sound like terrible career counseling, but if you just follow your instincts of love, you will find yourself in a relationship, a career, or even in a car that you love, and that journey is going to be good. Um, the third and final thing that let's make this about advertising.
Yes.
Something I know for sure is that it is a universal truth that everyone hates a salesman, but nobody hates a storyteller. So if you're in advertising and you're just selling, 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 you're going to hate your job and your job is going to hate you. But if you're telling stories, neither will your job hate you, nor will you hate your job, nor is the world going to hate your work. That is that.
That's quite beautiful. I feel like you've sold me. If I was a client, I'd give you a check and say, okay, right, how much do you want to be paid? Now, I've asked you questions the whole evening. So now, like you're a creative director and part of your job is asking the right questions. So go on ahead, ask me a question. Don't be shy.
You did not answer.
Oh, my love story.
Yeah, but I understand. You might not want to tell your however many people who are
wow.
Let me ask you a question now that I have my turn. Okay.
Yes.
Out of all the people that you interviewed, on Zero Chills TV, okay?
Yes.
Rate them from, tell me your top 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow. Okay, number 5.
Ah.
Let's do it. Number 5. Okay. Is there a prize if I name them correctly? Do I get something in that?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So cool. Number 5, of course, I'll have to say it has to be Masito Mzamo. I loved him. He's just cool. Number 4 is Liz Lenjo. She's an IP lawyer. I found her knowledge really extremely interesting, and she helped a lot of people, and she opened my mind and our viewers' mind to things that we do not necessarily think about as young people, such as IP and owning your craft and owning your creative spaces and just protecting your work. Number 3 has to be Robert Nganga, because he's a teddy bear and he's funny. I just feel like, please keep talking. Number 2. This is a tight one. Let me see. Ahmed. It has to be Ahmed Chili. He came last week. He was fun. Plus, he's also from SA, and he was actually very interesting. And he kept saying funny things here and there, and like he was woke. And number 1, of course, it has to be drum rolls, Megha Dutta.
Lies.
I'm not lying. First, because you're funny, you're fun. You can be funny without being fun. So you're funny and you're fun. Plus, you have been honest with us. I don't think have you lied to us? I have like very serious audiences here. They will come for my neck.
I have not lied.
You have not lied. Amazing. You see, plus. Yes. Plus, you are the only female creative director in the country. So, of course, I was not just saying that for PR. People will say, you're just saying that for PR. No, I may have named my top 5 so far. Of course, the list is bound to change with time. So, you're never assured of number 1. Everyone has to earn their spot, right?
Yeah.
So, sadly, we've come to the end of our show. But before I let you go, maybe there's a young person who wants to hear the 3 amazing words. Like some people say the 3 amazing words is I love you. But me, I always believe the 3 amazing words is check your M-Pesa. That one always works for me. So, what are your 3 amazing words that you like to tell any young person out here? Or 5 amazing words.
4. Be about the work.
Be about the work. Be about the work. Guys, I think if I add anything more to this conversation, I'll be subtracting. Thank you to each and everyone who has tuned in, from Nisi to Caroline, is it Caroline or Caroline? Caroline Campbell, Kenneth Mushira, Diana, and everyone else who's tuned in anonymously. I can see your tweets there, and I can see you inboxing me on my phone. Of course, I'm going to share Megha Dutta's number, and please keep it professional. Don't go there with those funny jokes of you as you Kenyans. Remember, she's turning 40 on November 1st. She's proud of her age, just like me.
Hey, I'm going to. Okay, so quick word about Eddie. Yes. Eddie, you were so fabulous. I have never met you before, but as soon as I came here, I felt like I've known you forever. So thank you for that. You're an easy person to talk to.
Yes.
And I didn't even, I came in saying that, oh my God, he's not even sent me one question that he's going to ask. He asks me random questions. Can I hem and haw and not know stuff on live zero chills? Everybody will get like 1 million chills then. So, yeah, Eddie, you were so great, man. It's so good to talk to. And it's so lovely seeing that you're so young and yet you have this this channel of yours, this TV, this content is pure magic. So more power to you, my friend.
Thank you. Now, before you ruin my mascara, like I took so much time to apply this makeup. Don't do that to me. Yeah, what will Dipesh say? Don't do that. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. See you guys next Friday. Megha, do you want to say something else? You look like you want to talk.
No. I mean, thank you for everyone's comments. Hi, everyone. And please support Eddie and Zero Chills. And subscribe,
subscribe on the YouTube. Wait, before I let you go, how are you going to unwind? It's a Friday. Me, I'm having this. Let me show you. I'm having this is I don't know what this is, but it's nice. And this is water. So I'm mixing the two. How are you unwinding? How are you going to let go of the office stress?
I have just changed my nail polish, and we have curfew, and the president has closed the country forever and ever. So I might drink and die.
Wow. So Megha is going to paint her nails. I might join her. Who knows? I'll think about it. But thank you guys for tuning in. See you next Friday. Bye.
Bye.